Love comes after knowledge. Because if we say love makes a marriage work, listen, there's a lot of people that were crazy and loved once, but now they are divorced. And it's not because that it was love's fault. No, it was the lack of knowledge fault. I said here that marriage has purpose. And the reason I want you to understand is that because it has purpose, it has potential to it. But if I want to pull out its full potential, I have to understand that there's a blueprint and there's a design. That marriage is not about finding the right person as much as about being the right person. It's true, but people often view marriage as a contract. Marriage is not a contract. Marriage is a covenant. What is a covenant? A covenant means that it cannot fail. It shouldn't fail. What is a covenant? A covenant means that Jesus says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Even if you leave me and forsake me, I'll never leave you. That's covenant. Now we live in a world where people have, of course, we have changed this, and I understand divorce and I understand all that. I'm going to teach on that as well, or preach on that as well. But I want you to understand a contract is something that you do what you do, I do what I do. That is not how a covenant works. A covenant is based on servanthood. A contract is based on rules. So my question to you this morning is your marriage based on rules or is it based on servanthood? Marriage is a place of union for which two can come together for multiplication. Adam and Eve, as I said, Adam and Eve, you have to understand, Adam and Eve was placed in a garden. Because they were placed in a garden, automatically it means cultivate. What does cultivation means? Work at it. A marriage is not successful just because you smile well, you dress well, and you show up. Marriages are successful because we cultivate them. Listen, the person that you are married to, they are a spirit, they have a soul, and they live in a body. And what we have to understand about the designs, please know this. There's huge difference between men and women. When a lady speaks, she's trying to express her emotion. So when she talks, she's not wanting a man to solve the problem. She is saying something because she wants to be heard. The problem with men is this: men want to solve the problem because by natural inclination they are solvers. But you see, the problem is that the game has changed so dramatically in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Think about it. 20 years ago, if you were an older person, if you supplied to your family, you were a good man. Now, the pressure is that you have to be in touch emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And so if the man is at work, and think with me, guys, if a man works all the time, then it means that emotionally there's a lack, there's a spiritual lack. So the game has shifted all the time for us. And now what's happening and what's taking place is that we are finding that more and more things has to be cultivated. You have to cultivate emotionally, you have to cultivate spiritually, and you have to cultivate personalities. And may I say, if I can give you one of the greatest tips that I would ever give is this: please take time to cultivate a person's personality before you marry them. You have to understand them emotionally, you have to understand them spiritually, and you have to understand them physically. If you don't take time of it, because it's not a rush, you don't need to do it quick. If you don't take time to cultivate your garden and make sure that it is the right person, you're going to marry yourself into an issue that you want to get out of. Listen, give yourself two things. Give yourself time and give yourself the ability to see a person under pressure. Because when people go under pressure, who they are comes out. I'll say this as a joke, but it's true. Give people slow internet and see what happens. No, listen, you have to understand, men and women have different personalities. And I don't know what your personality is, but learn one another's personalities so that you can be the best couple there is. Because personalities are different and we have to cultivate them. Then as I say, and I wanted to say this because I believe it's so true, is that God does not command marriage. Marriage is a choice. You don't need to be married to be happy. What most people do, they believe that when they get married or when they get with another person, that person will make them whole. That's false. People cannot make you whole. In actual fact, if we get married to let other people make us whole, what's going to happen is we're going to place pressure on another person that they cannot carry, and in time what's going to happen, that person will buckle under pressure because they've not been created to handle that pressure. They've been created to be whole themselves. So now you bring them in an unwhole situation, they don't know what to do. Oh, come on, are you there? So God does not command marriage. Marriage is a choice. You don't need to be married to be happy. And then I wanted you to catch this morning. A man is created to have a vision, and woman is created to be a helper. And I'll say it because I think it's sometimes, people don't like it, but it's true. A man has to be driven by vision. Then he needs help. But why does a man need help if he doesn't have a mission? If he doesn't have a vision? If I want to know how healthy a marriage is, I only need to ask the question, how healthy is the children? Because the seed will speak to the parents. So if you have to understand this, the number one reason, again I say, is that love does not make a marriage work. Knowledge makes a marriage work. And there's too many broken people out there. Listen guys, we are sitting in a situation right now in the world. Do you know that we have the highest divorce rate, we have the highest anxiety rates, we have the highest depression rates that we've ever had? Why? Because the enemy is attacking families fiercely in this hour, more than ever before. And because the pressure goes up, if we don't know who we are and we don't find our identity, what's going to happen is we're going to crumble under that pressure. And this is how the devil does it. Please listen carefully. This is how the enemy does it. Very, very simple. The enemy cooks that marriage from the inside out, slowly but surely. He does not come with a pitchfork in his hand and red horns on his head. No, the devil comes and he makes them sin a little bit at a time. And before they know it, what happens is he has taken over dominion over that family.